Why would I want to be disrupted? Like, it just makes logical sense. Right? Hey, is this silent or not? Or
No.
this silent?
There you go.
Okay.
Let's vibrate.
Oh, that's vibrate.
When it disappears, it's silent.
Okay. All right. Hey, here we are. It's another episode of Attic Static with Johnny, Gary, and myself.
Raymond.
And Raymond. So Ed is not with us tonight. He's got some extracurricular activities going on. Adam.
We don't know where he is.
We don't know anything, but he's here in spirit. So we are going to start off. So Johnny had a full house today. What were you guys doing today?
We had a good time. We'll start with the weekend. So we had the other half of myself, male version, my cousin's husband, had his retirement party, and we were able to help in that. And, same thing, 55, way over 30 years with the state, so he was able to retire, and we congratulate Lou Blauer for that.
55, you said?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just turned
nice.
55, and he did it right, So he did everything, IT director for multiple divisions in the state, and he's done a good job. So we celebrated that, and then today we did the presentation in the church to my cousin's daughter, Bianca Petrocelli, and we had a full house. That's why we sort of delayed it a little bit, just to get the people in and out.
Yeah.
And you guys were able to play some games with the residual people. But yet we're here, and that's the key, right? We want to embrace all the people of the family, all the new kids. We want the kids to know that, this address is the house to be in. And they, little by little, they realize that. They really do. They walk in.
They won't even notice. It'll just grow up being normal, right?
Yeah, this is the place. So we're happy with that. We're happy you guys were able to come at least a little early. Hopefully that you guys were able to eat. So that's usually the one thing that I feel bad when I have these parties, because we don't eat that much, and we usually have
too much food.
A lot of food. So it's a good time. We're happy. We're waiting for the producers and the technical support to create the little children so that we could, do the same thing. We're waiting. We're waiting for the call to come. And another note that's very positive, my assistant from work, which maybe the camera has grabbed the daughter in a snap. She's usually with me on weekends sometimes. Her mother is pregnant.
That's number 4, right?
She is having a boy.
Oh,
so she announced
3 in 1.
Yeah, she announced to the family this weekend that it will be a boy. So they finally got their wish.
There's 3 girls?
3 girls, 1 girl, twin girls,
yep.
And now a boy. So we're happy. So it's a good weekend.
Well, just to finish it off, so Dominic, your brother Dominic's potentially being a grandfather again today,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Good point. So we were hanging out today with his first, which is Gabriel. He was downstairs and he's happy. And Andre and Katie will be hopefully welcoming another boy into the world. This
Potentially now, today, tonight.
Could have already happened.
Yep.
We're not sure. But yeah, we're happy. You're right? That's a huge milestone, and we're happy. The family's growing, and Jennifer and I in a good position to just give those little kids whatever they want, and then we return them.
What do you got going on, Gary?
I remember we talked a couple months ago about that DecaFit World Championships thing I qualified for. That was 2 days ago in Dallas.
Wait a minute. The last time we talked about it, you were like the best in the world or something, right?
I was not. First of all, I was age group, and I still wasn't the best. I was ranked 4th.
4th.
In the competition, one of the people in front of me did not go, so I was ranked 3rd going in. I didn't do well.
You went Saturday. This was Friday.
This is Friday.
Yeah.
I didn't do terrible. I just didn't do. I mean, when I did my qualifier over the summer, I wasn't even specifically training for it. So I expect to do about a minute or more faster this time, and I did 5 seconds faster. but I needed 10 seconds faster because I came in fourth, missing third by 5 seconds. So it was a little disappointing not making the podium.
Right. So then you didn't get a medal.
Everybody gets a medal
Everybody gets a medal?
we
Come
don't care about
on.
that.
if you finish.
But what's
But
the reason? What's the real reason? What do you think the real reason? Did you not train enough? Did you?
It's only
Oh,
5
no,
seconds,
no.
dude. Why can't you just go 5 more seconds?
So let me explain how this works because it's kind of confusing. When you're running when I'm doing a road race, I know exactly where everybody is. You look, you see where everybody is. When
Yeah.
you're doing this, there's a different heat that goes off every 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And so as soon as you start, you're already having people in your way when you're running. So I'm running, and I mean, out of everybody who competed, only the elite men had, I had the third fastest run out
But
of
it's not
everybody.
it's not just a run, right?
No,
It's like
no. But I'm running faster than everybody, so I'm constantly running into people.
Right.
And it's the only way you really know where you are within your race is when you get into a station. If there's anybody in front of you,
So hold on. It's like an obstacle course, right? You run and you get to a station. You have to do some
Yes.
heavy lifting thing and then run to the next one and then
Yes.
run to the next one, right?
so when you get in there, you can actually say, okay, there's 3 people here. I'm in 4th place. So
But you're catching up to people through the different heats, right? If you were in the third heat.
yeah, but
like,
you're not. They have to be really, really bad, and you have to qualify to get there. I mean, it's world. So you should never be catching somebody who started ahead of you, and you should never be bad enough that someone behind you is catching you.
Okay. So you're just trying to beat the people in your heat. You think the people in your heat are appropriately timed.
Except for you just don't know exactly who those people are.
I was going to say, because how did you know when they started?
Well, we start together. Well, so this year they allowed 20 people to qualify, and they went in 2 heats of 10. But the people in the second heat were not as fast, so the chances of them beating you are slimmer. So anyway, I started off thinking, things are going pretty well. Start the run. He starts with a run. So I'm faster than everybody. So I get into the first station first, which is I expect to. Same thing happened last year. Except for the problem was I was the first person in and I was the last person out. And I'm like, this sucks. Because and I was prepared for this because this is one of my worst things is you have to do these 30 reverse lunges with a 55-pound ram. So 55-pound ram, it's basically like a weighted foam roller.
Okay.
And 55 pounds is a lot of weight for somebody like at least me and you who are not very big.
Right.
So when I went in there, I was like, this isn't normal. They had two mats, and they had like a thin, firm mat, and then a very thick plush mat.
So you're like all wobbly on
Yes,
that, right?
and I'm not good at this to begin with.
Yeah.
So I get on it, and I'm like, I almost fall over in the first one. I'm like, this isn't good. So I try it again. I'm like, this isn't good. So I just stepped to the side, so I was off of it, and then I would just try to, make sure my knees were hitting it. But when you're doing that, you still have to have your front foot on it. So I was like, this sucks. And I was like, as soon as I was the last person, I'm like, it's over. This is terrible.
When I did the Spartan race, when we did it years ago, same thing. You get into a station and there's like, whatever it is just impossible to do. And people are just passing
How
you
much
through
you
the
weigh,
thing.
Gary?
On a
You
heavy
don't
day, I'm
mind me.
145. That's the thing. Like these events are good for runners who are bigger.
Yeah.
Like, there are people who get upset by this, but if you look at the elite women in their elite race, they're bigger than me. And I'm like, and I'm watching this, I'm like, they would beat me. But the women have lighter weights that they have
What's
to do.
wrong with that?
Well, whenever I say anything about a woman being bigger, then it's insulting. But bigger doesn't mean anything other than just they're muscular.
small.
They're muscular
Or you're
women.
small.
Yeah.
One or the two.
Oh, when we did that Marine Corps race, it was the same thing, right? Like I got to hold a 50-pound bag of sand over my head, and so does the
Wait,
guy.
the
that's-
one that we did,
Yeah.
that wasn't the Marine thing.
whatever that was. What is it?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm holding the same bag that the guy next to me who's 220, 6'2",
Yeah, yeah.
right? And I'm like, this is not,
Quality, man.
yeah. So that's rough.
So yeah, it is the benefit for me is like I make up a lot of difference with my running,
Yeah.
but when I get into the events, I do well. It's just that these guys they're just crushing.
That's like me in the try. Never cared about the running part or the
Right.
water.
Right.
The
Just
minute
get
I
on the
got on the bike, poof, I'm
Right,
gone.
right.
But I mean, I think the biggest thing is I was not mentally into it, and as soon as I thought I was out of it. I'm like, this is terrible. And then my friend yelled at me somewhere in the middle. She says, "You're in third." I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, what is she thinking? Like, I know I'm not in third." And I wasn't even paying attention each one. I was just like, "This is hard. This is so hard. I'm in so much pain. I just want to be done." And then on the last run, so you run and then you go to the last one, and the last run is 2 laps around each time. She yelled at me on my last lap. She's like, "You're 8 seconds back." And I'm thinking, 8 seconds back from what? Like, I had no idea what she was talking about. I'm like, I don't think I'm in 8 seconds back from first, from second, from third, from fifth. I don't know. So, and I couldn't see who the person was because all these people in the way. So I finally get ready to go in the last one, and I see the guy go in. And I'm like, all right, well, he looks like he's still about 8 seconds ahead of me. And you have to do 20 burpees with a 44-pound ram.
How do you do it? Where you put it down?
So you grab the thing, you go down, and you crush your chest on the thing.
Oh, you did the push up. You do a push up on the ram.
Yeah, then you got to throw it over your head.
How many?
20. So, so I get to that. I'm like, okay, well, and I knew there was somebody close behind me, and most of these guys are at least as good, if not better, in these things. I have to make up the difference. So I go and I'm like, well, this guy's got over 5 seconds of me. There's no way I'm going to catch him because I'm just doing horrible. I can't do it. I'm like, I'm going to die. So my friend was yelling at me, didn't hear anything. I finish, and I finish in 4th, and she goes, 3rd place was 1 burpee ahead of you. I'm like, what?
1 burpee.
She goes,
you lost by a burpee.
Yes. And I'm like, if I had known, you could always muster that out. And
Well,
but you can't
think.
tell what's going on.
Remind me, you eat meat?
Yeah, not, I would say 80% vegetarian.
80%. So you think that maybe if you had a little bit more steak, a little bit more umph to you, no?
No, because I had,
He was in 4th place. You know,
But he's not happy.
Hold on. Out of how many?
He's not
Out of how
happy.
many? 200, right? Two.
no, well, only 20 qualify per age group. So you have to qualify.
Oh, in the age group.
So, yeah, so I was 4th out of 20 that went.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Are you going to do it again?
When I finish, I'm like, this sucks. You know, you
It's
can
like
probably
climbing a
understand-
mountain. Yeah.
So you know
Never again.
You know when we do
Until
Till the
next.
next one.
you
Yeah.
know when you do the Murph, but you're doing it as fast as you can?
Yeah.
You know how painful that is?
Yeah.
Believe me when I tell you, this is much, much worse.
I'm sure.
Because when I do the Murph,
Because you
I'm
have
like
all the
this.
weights. We don't have the weight in there.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, yeah.
You're not pushing all the weight around.
Yeah,
It's all body
it's
weight.
I don't know. I said I wasn't going to do it again. It depends on what they have, the world. Like I might do the one to qualify, but I don't know if I'm going to fly somewhere to compete for.
Listen, you hang out here in this house. Jennifer will feed you, and you'll do much better the next one. All right?
It's not an issue with that.
It is. You need substance. You guys are too thin. You need to build up a little bit. You know.
That's not the issue.
So speaking of the Murphs, I did a Murph with Bill Millard on Saturday, which is kind of like a little mini workout thing that the CrossFit folks do. So you got to do 100 push-ups. You gotta do
Pull-ups.
100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 squats. Like kind of as fast as you can. Like that's the goal. And then run a mile in the beginning and a mile at the end. So we did that Saturday morning, but we did it timed. Like we didn't do it as fast as we could. We did it at a certain cadence. So my legs are starting to hurt now, and I'm sure by tomorrow I won't be able to walk. But you know, it's not quite as hard as what Gary did. So congratulations, Gary.
I can do it more
listen,
faster than I could do in this.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you include me in the conversation, I want you to do better. I don't want, 3rd, 4th. I want you at the top of your game in your age class, no matter what.
Wow.
You need to figure it out.
I'm
You're
not winning.
someone
This guy
who analyzes things. You're someone who's extremely dedicated. You don't drink. You don't smoke. You eat what you're supposed to. I can say I didn't get to the top of the mountain in Portugal because I don't do anything right. But you need to compete and you need to do what's right because that's what you're passionate about. I'm sorry to tell you that.
So listen, Gary, the next time, just have an extra meat dinner 3 weeks going before.
I did have meat the day before.
And then you'll know if Johnny's
Well,
right
it's
or
not
not.
enough to digest.
But it's
you
not-
need to build
listen,
it up.
We have to discuss this. So, being I'm not a vegetarian. I'm just mostly vegetarian. It's not going to affect you. I mean, there's plenty of people who are high-level athletes, strong people who are vegans, which is even harder. But I get plenty of nutrition, and I've this year, I think I'm the oldest I've ever been.
Yes, I think
would
so.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I mean,
like
my strength is at the top of it's ever been, so it's not a strength thing.
that. Well,
then
what is it?
At this particular thing, it was more mental than anything, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
So you're weak-minded.
I was. I don't like that as a.
Or not prepared? You
Oh, I
said
was
it
prepared.
in the thing.
No, I was prepared.
You said maybe I wasn't.
I was
You said it
prepared.
in the thing. You were? So you felt you were prepared.
I mean, my running is going to come before these competitions all the time, so I'm not going to sacrifice my running well just so I can do.
Right,
so
so
I'm not doing as much like huge leg things because it's going to affect my running.
I'm a problem solver for your
Yeah.
self-esteem.
Yeah.
Stop doing this crap. Just run.
I guess being fourth in your age group for the world is not good enough.
Not for
No,
John. Not for
for
John.
me, it
especially
wasn't.
if you came here and said, I'm very happy with what I did.
Never happy.
You who started the conversation, you weren't happy.
So if anybody who's a competitive athlete, they're never satisfied. You never did as well as you could do. You could always do better.
Because once you come in first in your age class, then you can be like, all right, I'm going to try to beat the guys in the other age class, like younger than me, right?
Yeah.
You just keep pushing it.
Well, let's strive for that.
Yeah, you got to beat the 40s.
There were surprisingly there was 3 40-year-olds, like in the early 40s, who were in the elite race. Because I was talking to this guy afterwards, and he didn't look young, and I said, "You go yet?" He goes, "Well, he would have gone recently, because it went younger to older."
So wait, surprisingly, meaning the elites are usually the younger, like 20, 20
like the
somethings?
guy who won's like 25 years old.
Right. Okay.
But this guy, I was talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I went at like 12 o'clock." I'm like, "You were in the elite race?" He goes, "Yeah," and he, to put it in perspective, he did like 7 minutes faster than I did. I'm like, "Holy crap!" I go, "That's awesome." I said, "If you would crush your age group." He goes, "He was eighth in the elite." I'm like, "That's
7
great."
minutes faster than you, and the whole race is how long?
Well, it's 10 stations plus 5K.
No, but how long does it take you?
Me, it took me 37 minutes.
Jesus.
Wow. So to take 7 minutes off of that, that's
Oh yeah, it's not happening.
that's crazy.
No, it's not happening.
All right, so you may as well quit. You're never going to win. You might as well just quit.
No, for the age group, not the whole thing.
So I mean, it's fun. It's disappointing. I'm a little sore.
A little?
Nice. Well, if you're training,
Well,
you shouldn't be that sore.
I think I was telling Ray at the end when you're doing the burpees, like you got to go fast, but you're also like ready to die. So I'm trying to go fast, trying to see if I can catch this guy, and I'm slamming down, and my knees are just hitting this thing super hard. Of course, there they have the hard mat, not a soft mat, and my knees hurt kind of just from slamming down, trying to get back up.
Johnny, your knees don't hurt, right? From exercising.
I don't exercise. If I did, I couldn't even feel them.
Hey, you don't know what it feels like though. It's a nice feeling. You know, as one of my friends says, it's like people say, "Why do I run? Why do you run?" Because same reason I punch myself in the face. It feels good when I stop.
That's right.
That's a good one.
All right, Johnny, I got one for you. I'll give you a Tesla update. So a couple things. So I think since we've had the car, so August, right? I think we've charged it twice, not at our house, like somewhere out on the road. And it was me both times going to the Poconos and forgetting to fully charge it before I left.
Could you go there and back on a charge?
So this past Thursday, whatever. I had it fully charged it. I had to go out there in the afternoon. So I drove out, did what I got to do, blah, 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 and drove all the way back, 60 miles left, right? So no sweat, right? Then, of course, I didn't plug it in, right?
When you got home?
Yeah. And then I got home like 2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Okay.
Just, forgot about it. And then the next day, I think it was Friday, I went to pick up Noah at Rutgers, and he drove back and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, "Oh, there's only 60 miles on here. Are we going to make it back?" And I'm like, "It's only 20 miles. We'll make no problem." Then we didn't plug it in, right? And then yesterday, I was out doing some stuff, and I didn't really notice it, but at some point I finally noticed this little bar on the screen saying something that's in a font too small for me to read, right? So I finally have to stop and look at it, and it's like, "Your battery is really low. You better charge it." And there's no more charging stations between like wherever, whatever, right?
Jesus.
So, but I wasn't far from home. So, but the funny thing was my phone. So I got a new phone that I'm switching over to an Android phone, and I hadn't charged that either.
These guys are just
So the thing's about to die, and it's the only way to unlock the car.
How is
Right?
that though? What if someone steals your phone? You can't get in your car?
No, there
No,
are
they
these
got
like
fobs.
little credit card things, but that was at home, right? So all I had with me was the phone that was about to die and a car that was about to die, and so I sit in the car and I plug in the phone to make it charge, to get it up to like 5 or 7% or whatever, just to keep it live, and then I had 14 miles left on the thing to get home, and I drive it home, and I knew I could make it, so it was no big deal. So I was in Freehold.
So
I drove home.
unfortunately, I'm sure it's not the same as like with gas when it says, "Oh, you have 0 miles to go." It's like, I know I can go 25 more miles. But if that says 0%, you probably have 0%.
They say it's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so.
Plus or minus like 1%.
Yeah. So yeah, I drove it home. I got home with 6 miles on it and charged it and then plugged it in, and everything's fine.
I have a
right?
great idea.
It's a range anxiety.
We're going to do this and make some money. So, you know how you can just take your phone and put it on a thing and it starts charging, a docking station? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
plugging it in? You need to make driveways where you just pull in your driveway and it just starts charging.
We have the conversation all the time. And ironically, I haven't done the research, but I remember when it was first coming out, there was one, and you put the whole thing, and it had a mat, and you drive up into your driveway, and on the screen it had a thing, like if you were too far forward, and it would mark
And then
you.
would charge?
It would charge.
So they do that?
They had it.
No one can find it
The
anymore.
funny thing is
Yeah.
like I guess it either wasn't popular or wasn't efficient, and it disappeared. But
So it shouldn't be that hard to just get home
idea.
and plug it in, but some people forget. So at least if you know there's a mat, you don't forget.
Dude, I get free gas, and I come home and I forget.
Wait, how do you get free gas?
My job, I get gas from my job.
They give you gas for free?
We have a gas station.
Yeah, but you don't drive around that much for work, do you? Or do you?
It's regardless. Don't even say that. That's not the point. The point is that I get it, I forget.
Wait, if I come visit you, do I get free gas?
No.
Damn it.
So
Like, meaning it's one of those things that you put into your schedule and you have it in the back of your head, and it's like, but me, I don't care because I'm only a mile away. But
Yeah.
when you're in the Poconos, you think that you'd figure something out, like I'm gonna plug it in a little bit, or I'm gonna put it over here.
So this is what I do. So when I go to the Poconos, right, I take the cord with me because I have the mobile cord, right? Instead of a charging station at the house, I bought the mobile cord, right? So I can unplug it and take it with me. So yeah, just plug it in there, and it charges 4 miles an hour because it's on the regular outlet. But if you're there overnight, it puts 30, 40 miles on it overnight, and it's fine, right? So it's not that big a deal to do that. But I can say that since August, we've been to the gas station or the charging station twice, and that's it. Right? You've never been to a gas station to do anything.
Pay for it, or is it free through some of the Tesla things?
No, if you bought Teslas early on, like years ago, you got like free lifetime charging and stuff, but it's not anymore.
Free lifetime?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know someone who has it.
Yeah,
Only a Tesla one.
yeah, I think so.
So he was like not dying, but he was trying to.
He's trying to get it out there, right?
incentivize,
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
he did that.
Yeah.
So if you still have the car,
Yeah. Then you still have it. Yeah. So no, I looked at the thing the other day. I think I paid the 2 times I had to charge. You basically go to the GPS on the car and say, I'm going home. Right. And then it says, oh, you're going to stop at Wawa first because you're not going to make it. Right. And it just tells you where the charging station is and then puts it in your route. Right. And when you get there, it says you only need to charge for 10 minutes. It's not going to like make you fill up. Right. It's just going to get you enough. And then it's going to send you home. It's cheaper to charge at home. So I think I paid $12 one time and $15 one time.
For how much?
I don't even know. Enough to get me home.
I mean, it sounds like a lot if it's just for 10 miles, 20 miles.
No. It was I'm 100 miles away.
Okay.
Right. So it's gonna leave you with a buffer too. Right. So, but if you're filling up a tank of gas and it's $50 or whatever it is these days, right? So it's a quarter of a tank or whatever you consider that. So, to me, not that bad. Right. And we haven't really had to worry about it. Right. As long as you just plug the thing in. But it's cool that you can partially fill the tank and then go home and finish. Right. You don't have to fill it all.
I think that's key.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Because like when my car, I can't partially fill my car with gas and then go home and refill it at home.
That's right.
Until
You
I
can
get a
partially
gas
fill
tank.
it. You just can't finish it at home.
Well, I am going to be putting a gas station tank into
In your house?
In your house?
Why not?
Johnny will
With
install
that
it for
hill,
you.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
No, that's good to get feedback from people.
So yeah,
who
so
own
far
it.
it's not bad. Right?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you don't have to. That even if it's 5 or 10 minutes at the gas station, you're not doing it there. It's at home, right? So you take 30 seconds to plug in your car at home instead of 7 minutes at the gas station.
So I'd love to know, and with those CTs that I put in our location in Connecticut, you would know exactly how much would it cost you as a homeowner to completely from zero to full charge that car. How much does that cost? What do you think?
Did you fix your solar panels? Still no?
That's another story.
That's B.
But to answer your question, I think the way to answer it is that you just look at it tells you the charging pattern. Like so from the other day, I can go see it was almost empty. I can see what it took to fill it, and then it tells you how many amps it used, and you can just do the math, right? And then say, oh, it took me this many kilowatt hours, and then whatever that cost you, right? 12,
It's just a good
12 cents
number
an hour.
because I think people were around the $3 range.
$3 to fill.
$3
That's it?
a gallon. No,
Oh.
meaning they were comparing it to a gallon of gas. to
Yeah.
fill.
If you're at a fast charging station, then you're paying. When it's
Correct.
at home, it's
Correct.
a lot
No,
Still
no,
cheaper.
paying,
no,
but
no.
how much does it cost you at home to charge?
No, no, no.
lot less.
I'm only saying he's right. So that's the whole.
But that's
purpose.
not a number.
But I'm saying a 1-to-1, a 1-to-1. I wanted to see what it cost you at home, what it cost you in the
Yeah, I have to go
DC station compared to a regular car.
Yeah, I'd have to go do a little math.
There is a number,
Yeah.
and people would. It behooves everyone to understand that it's not like this. They're right there.
Well, yeah, if you're paying at a fast charger, I think I
Yes,
paid
right
like
there.
40 something cents a kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
and at home you're typically going to pay 12.
Yeah.
Right.
But how much
So-
is
so
40
it's a
cents kilowatt? How many
quarter.
kilowatt hours do you need to fill it?
It depends.
It
Let's
does-
just say it's empty.
But let's say it doesn't matter because the 40 something cents equates to the $3 a gallon
Yeah.
thing.
So it's the same.
So the 12-cent thing is a quarter, is 25% of the cost.
Yeah.
Right? You'd say it's 4 times
But it's
cheaper.
interesting because there's certain people who never invest in the home part.
Well,
They get the car and they only do
Right.
gas stations.
right.
Really?
Just it's it's one of those things where
Or it's convenient, right? I'm
Yeah,
out
it's
driving, I
convenient.
just
All
fill it up.
convenience.
Park in the lot, I read a book for 10 minutes, and then I keep
But
going.
I don't think, and you tell me, but I don't think you or many people are buying these because they're saving that much money in gas. I mean, maybe you save $1,000 a year in gas comparatively. There's a lot more better things you're getting out of it. You're not. The maintenance is almost zero.
You should be saving on maintenance. There's a lot of tax breaks and stuff like that now.
they still?
And then there's
yeah, and he cut the price.
they cut the price, and there's $10,000 in
biggest-
tax
We've
breaks.
done Tesla's
reason.
got the price.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he cut the price.
Wait, since you bought yours?
He cut it right before we
Right
bought it,
before,
and then he cut it again after we
Yeah.
bought it. Yeah.
It's huge. He's not dumb.
And then so it's the maintenance thing, it's the gas thing, and it's the what's the third one? There's got to be a third one. Oh, and the incentives, all the tax incentives that make it kind of like worthwhile. And for us, it's even cheaper once I get my solar fixed, because instead of paying 12 cents a kilowatt hour, I'll be paying 4.
So your solar hasn't been fixed for at least 2 months, and you don't have a job. What are you doing?
It's not my fault. I just want everyone to know it's not my fault.
Do you mean to come down and fix it for you?
It's the world we live in now. You
Yeah.
order crap and it don't work.
Yeah. So this one, on the second inverter, the first one I sent back, the second one started working, stopped working after 1 day.
So you're getting crap.
Different company, different brand, everything different from the second one. And been monkeying around with it for 3 weeks on the phone with the tech support guys. And finally, I was like, guys, we just need to replace this thing, right? They're trying to upgrade the firmware, this and that, and nothing's working. So the RMA process has started. So they're going to, so tomorrow I should go and be able to figure out if, are they sending me a new one? Am I getting a new one? Like, what are we doing, right? So
Don't they have techs that can come out to take care of it?
no, this is like a install it yourself thing. So, like,
And that's what the future of all those inverters are.
yeah, I mean,
To
they
keep
should
the cost down.
Yeah. And I will say it should have been a lot easier. They used those connectors and stuff that were kind of a pain to make, right? I think it could have been easier.
Yeah.
But at least
Now,
this time.
did a little bit of research while I was preparing to go back to yours.
Oh yeah.
In Europe, it's a European unit.
Yeah.
All of the connectors are the same. Everything's the same. So if you were going to swap to a different one,
Yeah.
the new one would come the same way.
Oh.
So what he's referring to is here we all use just a regular connector like what's in your breaker box, and we do all the connections, regular.
Stick the wire in,
These
screw
are
it down.
different. It comes with a whole kit. You take your existing wires, you retrofit it to these quick connects, and you plug it on the outside.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what he's
So we had to
referring
rewire the whole
Yeah,
thing.
rewire it, main butt.
So now once I get the new one, I just plug it in, just disconnect, reconnect, right? So that should be easy.
And the sad thing is, which is for whoever's listening in and cares, is an industrial inverter that does the same thing is easily twice as much as the home buyer buy it on Amazon or online type.
Twice as much cost, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because remember all the ones that I was sourcing for you,
Yeah.
by the time I got all the numbers back?
Yeah.
So the same manufacturer that does your breaker box, I'm just saying, if you had a Square D, whatever, their Schneider version of a house inverter, 6,000 kilowatt, twice as much as these that he's dealing with.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll give me a good one. It'll work, and I'll not have an electric bill again. So yeah, we've been paying for our
Still,
electricity
it's
since
kind of
August. And
ironic.
it's killing me, man.
It's kind of
Killing me.
ironic.
It's still not that much money, though.
I don't know what it is, but yeah,
Electric bill.
Yeah.
You
it's
guys
got to
don't
be
put-
$200 bucks a
It's not
month.
zero.
No, you're not using air. You don't use air conditioning.
Maybe he has all electric.
Our whole house is
stove,
electric.
Yeah, so it's
dryer,
a catch-22.
stove, all the lights, all the heat. Well,
Because
not
remember,
the-
he,
but your heat is.
it's gas, but the blower is all.
So
electric,
listen,
right?
I have. Well, my heat is gas, but I have an electric dryer. We have electric, a lot of things, and during the summertime when I'm doing using the air conditioning, that's when it's the highest and still.
What is it?
100,
You don't pay the
100.
bills. I thought Janice pays the bills.
I pay all the bills. What are you talking about? I pay all of them. 100,
right.
150. It's not that bad.
Good. Maybe it's
I
not.
mean,
right.
during now, it's like $20-$30.
listen, are you looking? He doesn't even know the number. It can't be that bad.
We don't have a number. We've never had a number for.
No, I'm just
15
saying.
You paid it for 2
whatever
months.
it is, he doesn't know. It doesn't matter.
Wade pays the bill, so I don't know what it is.
That's what I said. It doesn't matter.
But she hasn't screamed about
Trust
it.
me,
so
if
can't
it
be
was a
that bad.
number that
Right.
bothered her, he would have
Right.
known about it.
Right. Yeah, we're used to $2 a month.
I would have gotten a John. What are you doing? What's up?
So
with
when
this
you're
thing?
charging your car overnight, you're paying for that though, right? Or
Yeah.
can you-
Yeah, but I'm paying 12 cents an hour like everybody else instead of 48 cents an hour at the charging station.
Right.
So
Oh,
if I was on
so
solar,
you're talking about like $1 to charge overnight.
if I was charging on solar, it would be 4
No,
cents
more than that.
instead of 12 cents.
It's more than that, but it's
How do
not
you
a
figure?
Because when you produce solar at your house, you sell it back to the utility company at wholesale price, which is like 4 cents a kilowatt hour. They sell it to customers at 12 cents a kilowatt hour. So instead of selling it to them at 4 and me getting a credit, it's going in the car.
Right.
So the cost to me is that 4 cents that I'm not getting
Right.
from selling.
Because he's not getting the rebate or the
refund,
whatever you
right?
want to call it.
Right. So that's my cost.
So you're
of-
telling me you're not generating enough electricity to fill your car and send them extra?
well, we would get a couple of $100 back every year of extra,
Right.
right? So in my mind, that is not.
You know how
gonna
that
go-
works? There's two things. So your meter runs backwards.
Yeah.
And your utility company credits your bill.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you're in a certain period of time, I think it's 15
clear the
years
bill.
now. Well, it's 15 years now. You also get these SRECs
Yeah.
that you sell them on the market. So he's
But
out
that
of
changed because when you first started doing, you're getting like a lot of money.
Well,
Well,
that's for the Rex. That's for these.
because
these
it's a commodity,
these
right?
Credits.
But
yeah.
right now, that's done because he's had it more than 15 years, so he can't get that. So his only credit is the credit on his bill, right? So
Right.
what he's saying is, I lost that credit, and now it's bothering me because I got to pay those
$200.
Hey, man.
Hey, hey, $200 is not nothing to you. You give them to me.
Yeah, if you want to drop $200 every time we come in here,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I'm down.
$200 a year and $200 every time we hear, not the same thing.
No, it's a month.
You said $200 for the year.
No, we would get about $200 a year in credit.
Yeah, a year.
But right now,
excess.
he's paying for his own electricity.
But now we're paying for our
his
electricity, so
electric
it's-
bill a month
Yeah,
is
yeah.
$200.
Yeah, I'm
Or
sure it's not
whatever-
200.
whatever
I
it
bet
is.
you-
Right,
Yeah.
two,
guessing.
400, whatever.
Yeah.
But we need to fix that.
Yes, we need to fix that. So that's my goal for tomorrow is to get these guys moving, get me a new one.
But these are important things because we mentioned in one of the previous episodes, they bought an inverter that the reviews and everything told them was going to be the correct one, but because of the way the array was put on the roof, it didn't work.
17 years ago.
Right. It has accessories that this new one was looking for. Number one. All of the internet says that was not going to happen, but once you talk to tech support,
Yeah, like,
boom.
yeah. Yep.
So it's like these little things that people think that, oh, I have this on my roof. It's easy. It's not that it's difficult, but there's little things that you have to know.
Well, and
about.
the downside was that I couldn't just go buy the one I already had, like the one that broke. The original one, died, and then we replaced it with the ones that you had, different brand, right? Now it's 10 years later. This one dies. That one doesn't exist, or a different version of
And
it
the
exists.
version
but it's
of it
very
exists, and it's
expensive.
$3,000.
Right, it's $3,000.
$3,000
It's
So
like a golf cart battery.
It's like a golf cart battery.
with no return.
So now I'm starting over on the homework side. Instead of just saying, "Oh, I just buy the same one or the new version of the same one," I had to go start over and do all the figure out what to get. It's a pain. And the first time we got it wrong, right? So wasted a month on that. Now I wasted a month on one that should work and doesn't work. So it's lots of fun.
It's definitely
that's
worth
that-
it though.
That's that. But yeah,
It's worth
the
it.
solar was good. The solar's been great for all these years. It's been more than 15 years, 17 years. So that's good. Okay. So that's all the new stuff that I can think of that's been going on. We haven't been traveling. We're back since we already talked about Portugal, and we haven't done anything else. You guys going anywhere? Any plans? Any trips?
Not scheduled, but we're planning on going to Florida next month.
You sound really excited about that.
I'm excited just because I want to get out of the cold weather. I don't like cold.
Yeah, but you can't be cold with that hat on.
It's nice up here tonight. It's not that bad. But no, this hat is awesome. Keeps me very warm. My wife says like from, I don't know, October-ish till May, she doesn't see my head. It's
Yeah.
too cold. I would have something covering
And
it.
I hate the cold. I hate it. And I use that. I never use that word.
Yeah.
I hate the cold.
I sometimes sleep with a hat on.
Ed used to sleep with a hat on. I remember that.
When we were in college,
Yeah.
I think it was pretty cold back then. We didn't want to pay for the heat.
For the electric bill. Or
That was heat. We had
or
radiators that
whatever
didn't
it
work,
was.
and the windows were terrible. It was like super hot in the summertime and freezing in the winter.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a quick story. So last Monday, wake up. I see a lot of commotion, cameras going crazy. I'm like, look, Jen, there's someone outside, cops, firemen, whatever. I was like, you gotta go find out what's up, because I wasn't ready to wake up. So, alarms got to be going for me to get out of bed. Even seeing the people right in front of my house, it did not instigate me to get out of bed. She goes, babe, they're saying there's a gas leak outside. You gotta get up. You gotta let these people in. They're looking for
Gas leak in your house?
Gas leak outside, the whole street.
So they're trying to find it.
Yeah, trying to find it. So I get up, open the door. It was like pure gas, like really, like, and it's the back door. I'm like, whoa.
So at least now it's not your house.
Yeah, big dude with all the stuff and a sensor, and fire guy comes in. Oh, we just need to go in your house. We think it's in the street, but we want to make sure it's not in people's houses. But long story short, like you guys are all talking about electric and heat and all that. Gas guy comes in, right? He's like, goes into the boiler room. He's like, what the heck is that? He goes, what the heck is that?
It's the size of your bedroom.
Yeah. He goes, what the heck is, he goes, does that still work? I'm like, of course. Like, don't you see it? This is how I heat my house. And he's like, they fix everything. It's in the street, blah, blah, blah. They fix it. Same guy comes back to relight. He goes, listen, I need you to turn that boiler on. He turns on. He goes, what's that noise? He goes, oh, that's the meter. So he goes in front of the gas meter with a stopwatch, and he's like, I don't think this meter's big enough.
What's he saying? Your gas was going that fast?
The thing was like,
but what do you
makes a noise.
What do you use so much gas for?
Because the house is huge.
I just told you the gas, the meter, the thing's this big. So the thing was, it's just funny because he's a younger guy. He's like, he's looking at it. He's looking at this thing. He goes, oh, what alternative would you have? It was like, it was just funny to see. Like, this guy works for the gas company. He was confused. Like, I'm like, dude, this is a regular boiler. It's like, it's just a little bigger than most. He goes, I don't think I've ever seen a boiler that big.
But is it unusual in the commercial world to be that big?
No,
right?
No, not at all.
So for him in the
residential, right? But it was just funny because he actually had a formula. Like, so for it to switch numbers, it had to be like 14 seconds. It was like right on the number. He's like, I don't know if this meter is big enough. I'm like, listen, look at the date on it. They put it. I was here when the gas guy was here when I bought the house. He said everything was fine, so you just leave it alone.
Yeah,
but
don't touch it.
It's like,
yep,
it makes a funny noise.
Yeah, when we first turned my solar on, the meter, the thing would actually spin the wrong way.
The wrong way.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, then they change it and put a digital one. It's not as fun to watch, but yeah. So all right, I just had one other thing I wanted to bring up, but then I forgot it because my memory sucks these days.
That's Alzheimer's from
not
working.
It could be.
No, it's dementia.
I still don't know the difference. Do we know the difference? Anybody know the difference?
Dementia's like onset because of old age, and it's sort of like a natural progression, whereas Alzheimer's is more like a disease.
Dementia. You're saying everybody gets dementia?
It's like part of getting old, and sort of like, the
my
whole
knees
rite
hurt,
of
my neck
passage.
hurts, I have dementia.
You got early onset dementia, and that's usually because you're old, right? When they say Alzheimer's, I
think I have early onset dementia and glaucoma.
What'd you say?
And you have early onset hearing loss.
What? But the outcome is the same. Like, your memory sucks, right?
No, because when you have full blown dementia, you just sort of the percentage is that you just have memory issues. Where you've got Alzheimer's, you're like acting all crazy.
You think you're in different times.
Lunar cycle, like certain cycles of the day, you go through different things. Dementia is just you have bad memory, and it progressively gets really bad. Whereas Alzheimer's has legitimate, real, and it could happen at any age, right? People get Alzheimer's early, and it's the same thing. Whereas dementia is usually an old person's disease. You don't say, Gary got dementia.
I do. I'm definitely got it.
I'm old, right?
I can't remember anything.
But that's usually the explanation, right? You see most people, they're in the convalescent home or in hospital. Well, he's a little bit of dementia. It's sort of like this thing.
So dementia is the okay, easy one, and Alzheimer's is
a disease.
The bad. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's no fun. What was I going to say? I keep forgetting what I was going to say.
It all came from that.
You have dementia.
Yes, I do. So what else? So Gary, you delivered shirts to Lisa today, right?
Is that a topic that's worthy of speaking about?
I don't know.
Yes.
So the better question for that is, because of the listeners, and you already had an established business and you're trying to make it grow.
Yeah.
Were you, in 2023,
That's this year.
were you able to grow it
Yes.
to the extent
So
that you wanted?
there's still this month, and I have jobs coming in, 20% more business than last year. So I think I'll end up about 25% more business this year than last year, which is good.
Nice.
So how is that something you made happen? Like, were you
Yeah.
actively trying to get more work?
Yes. Not as much. I've been putting a lot more effort to it in the last month or two. We've discussed this before, like years ago when I was working full time and doing this on the side. Ray's like, well, why don't you put more effort into get more business? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I do pretty well without putting a whole lot of effort into it. And it's not like you put in, like I asked 20 people, I'm gonna get 20 people say yes. It's like, yes, 20 people get one person. And you're like, that's just because you're not motivated enough because you don't need it.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but now I don't know if need is the right word, but now it's my biggest source of income. So now when I could go months without getting a paycheck. So now I'm like, I really need to do this more. So I'm pushing a lot more into it, and I'm getting more because of it. Plus I had a lot of meets that I've done, like events that I've done last year that this year just did so much better. And I can't give the exact reasons why. I mean, I have different options maybe.
You mean you don't know the reasons?
It's hard to know why. Like, why did one year I sell, let's say,
But you're
100
literally
shirts?
doing the same thing. You didn't change your pattern or.
No, same track meet, same school.
A lot of them are saying you always lose some, you gain some. But I mean, maybe one I do whatever this year, 30% more, 40% more, and I think it seems to be what I've noticed. It's more of a cyclical thing because if I do well at one meet, usually all of them are doing better, and if I'm not doing well, I'm not doing well at most of them. So.
No, it could be the economy. It could be the weather.
It could be lots of different things. Yeah, weather definitely
what.
plays. If I go to an event and it's pouring, I had like my first event of the year, which is one of my biggest
You
ones.
sell umbrellas?
Janice said the same thing. I should sell umbrellas.
What are you waiting for?
And the
Gary?
colder days, you switch to hoodies and all that crap?
So the best thing is like when it's cold. Here's the thing that's crazy. When it's cold out, I will sell, like the last couple of meets I went to, I will sell over 100 hoodies. And they're not cheap.
Sweatshirts with hoods.
Yeah, it depends what you want to call them.
Yeah.
Some people call them sweaters.
I never say hoodies.
But I could be in the middle of June when it's 80, 90 degrees out, and I'll sell 100 of them at the big meets too. I'm like, I can't believe people.
Women.
Men, kids.
No women?
Mostly kids. But when it's really cold, then the parents will be like, I didn't realize it was so cold, and they'll just buy a sweatshirt for me with nothing on it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should get some umbrellas to sell.
Or some other unique, like, what's the cool new thing for like keeping the rain off that's not an umbrella?
I don't know, but I went, one of the things that I was doing well with for a while was I was selling these tie-dye bucket hats. But the place I got them from stopped making them. They make tie-dye trucker hats, which people...
They don't leak when it's raining?
What's a
No,
trucker?
not for running.
What's a
I'm
trucker
just-
hat?
Not for
When it's
raining.
raining.
Trucker hat?
Yeah.
Trucker with the holes.
Yeah, the holy thing in the back with
It's a regular hat.
the
right,
one,
with
the
top
attic
big,
static hat we
A
have.
baseball hat?
just like the attic
Static
static.
static hat is
That's a trucker.
Yeah,
Wait, trucker hat is different than a baseball hat?
it's the same thing. But
It's the same thing,
it's
but the
mesh
back is mesh,
Okay.
and the front is like this the foamy thing.
Okay.
And that's known
Yeah.
as a trucker hat.
Okay.
So anyway, I look back and I'm like, man, why did I do so much better a couple of years ago when I had at this meeting? I'm like, oh, because I sold 50 bucket hats. Like I need something like that. So I just started buying these. I have all kinds of different bucket hats that I've been buying, and I'm going to start selling those again.
And you don't print on those?
I did. I used to put like a something on it. It wasn't customizable. It's like this is what you get. But I don't think people care.
Yeah.
So I get all these different hats. I throw them on the table and see how it goes.
Okay.
So the conversation started. You did 25% better.
I should by the time this year is over. Yeah.
2024. What's your game plan for that to grow?
50% growth. With my game plan, how to do it?
How?
I'm going to be
You don't have
pushing
to
for
be
more.
overly specific.
But is
You're
it
gonna
more-
expand to different types, or
Right.
you're going to just do?
No, I'm not going to
running?
expand. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get it. Like I already reached out to some people to do some swim events this winter. But again, it's not an easy thing to find. To get people to want. But I'm also going to start selling food. So that was the thing. Like every cross country race I went to this fall, people come to, are you selling any food? I'm like, no. Is anybody? No.
So
And-
no licensing difference, no nothing.
I get it. I looked into it. So at the end of the season, I talked to one person. I'm like, everybody's always looking for food. I said, do you care if I sell food next year? And they're like, nope. And I went to the other people. And they all said, fine. So I checked with the towns. The permit I have to sell the shirts, because I need a permit every day I sell. And they said it's the same permit, but then you'll need a food permit from the state or the county. I'm not sure.
Department of Health, right?
Yeah, which is not a big deal because I'm only selling prepackaged stuff. I'm not going to cook anything. And then I potentially next year will have a whole lot more because I don't go to every meet there's this youth meet that I only go to their championship, but every week they have a meet. And I don't go because I won't sell a lot of shirts, but I can go and sell food every Sunday. And then there's meets during the week there. So
you're going to need a new concession stand.
So 3 miles from my house,
you gonna
I can
sell?
have 3 days a week where I'm going to sell food.
What are you planning on selling?
I'm going to go to Costco, buy a whole lot of water and Gatorade and prepackaged energy bars and all kinds of stuff and see how it goes.
Oh, okay. So
And maybe it won't work. But
Ding dongs. Don't forget the ding dongs.
ding dong, man, ding dong. What's that from?
I don't know.
Twinkies.
Oh, Twinkies.
Eat It. Remember the Eat It video? Anyway,
Weird Al Yankovic, eat it instead of beat it.
yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, quick movie review. Did anybody see that documentary, or it was more of a mockumentary on Weird Al?
I heard about it. Lou was talking about it.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Someone was talking about it.
Way was
it you
talking
or
about it.
Way?
Yeah.
No, it was Lou. Lou.
I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. I talked to some people. They said it's not funny. No, it's you. Did you say it wasn't funny?
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And the first time I didn't realize it was a mockumentary. I'm like, this can't be real. But he it's showing how he's doing all these stupid songs. And then they're like, if you really want to make it big, you have to have your own song. So he did. This is where it got to be funny. He did Eat It. And then Michael Jackson's like, he stole my song and redid it as Beat It. It was pretty funny. So I recommend watching that. I don't remember what it's called.
No, we didn't. We got like 20 minutes in and we're like, we haven't laughed yet, so we turned it off.
That's pretty far. We usually have a 7-minute rule. If we don't think something's good within 7 minutes.
7 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back to the business though. So you're going to try to go to swim meets, get different type of business. What about how else do you get business? Corporate T-shirts, corporate shirts. What do you do?
So that's another thing I've been doing. You helped me with that one promotional card.
Yep.
Your line card, right? Like
it's just something when I'm at events, instead of people ask me, it's like, hey, do you do? I have a card, just a business card, but now I have something that actually has a little more stuff on it, and I'll just put it out so people can take it.
Line card, yeah, good.
Yeah, but the other thing I started doing, which I never it seems silly not to have done this before, but all the people who I know who I've been doing business with, I'm like, hey, by the way, if you can get me any work for anybody else in your school or anywhere else for anything, I'll give you a finder's fee.
Right.
And they're all like, great. I mean, this is all within the last month, so nothing's come from it yet. But
what's the fee?
Well, it depends on how much money I get.
It's not going to be like a
No, it's
percentage or something?
Oh, it's a percentage, but it depends. Sometimes people get me work, and I'm like, I made $100. Like, what am I going to give you?
Well, if you could say 10%, you give them $10.
Yeah, it seems like it's a waste. So I figure I work it out. Okay. Usually I'll help them out with something else. But I mean, I haven't gotten many things like that yet.
No, but that's grassroots. That's the way to start.
Yeah. I'm putting a lot more effort into growing it instead of before just letting it grow mostly on its own and slowly building it. Now I'm trying to push it a lot. I'm putting some gasoline on the fire.
And let me ask you the most simplest of questions. If it was to disappear, what would you do? What new would you do, or would you even care?
Meaning, do I need to rely on it to pay the bills?
No, I mean, it was just a more general question. If that was to disappear for whatever reason,
yeah,
you got your hand.
What would you
your
do?
hand got chopped off.
What would you do? Do you have another idea down the pipe? Is there something else?
I did have an idea that I was thinking of doing, and I mentioned this to you too about doing it. I thought about, and this is more of a seasonal thing, more of like a May through September, doing selling like ice,
Like shaved ice.
Shaved ice type stuff. I talked to you about it. Yeah.
It's big in Puerto Rico.
It's kind of like, I feel like it's a little more expensive to get into than when I got into my shirt business, but you also can start very small. Like, you don't need to buy a fancy truck. You don't have to buy the fancy things and I'm selling this brand. I don't think people.
But in the same locations, or like you're walking down Point Pleasant or something?
Oh, no, I probably would try to go to events where you already have a captured group.
Right. Okay.
Or right across the street from me is a pool. They have a food truck there that stays there all the time, but I don't think they're selling those things. So I could always say, can I just bring it there and come by every day? And if it works, great. If not, you start finding places to go bring it to.
Oh, okay. So you like the whole selling.
I like
the whole
being able to make money
retail thing.
as an entrepreneur and not having somebody tell you what to do and you make money for them. It's nice that, if you do things right and you do it well, you make more money. Whereas if you do something right and do it well for somebody else, they make more money.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I like it.
more things I wish I had taken the chance of doing when I was younger.
Yeah, but everybody's afraid to do it when you're younger because you're
Especially
busy.
if you have the backdrop of a regular job.
Yeah, you already got the job. It takes
Yeah.
the pressure off.
Yeah, but I mean,
So
jobs are never great. I mean, I never hated most of my jobs, but you're never making so much money. It's like, oh, they're making so much money here. Why would I even think about doing something different? But even when I started my business, I was like, I don't know how it's going to work out. It's going to cost me a couple $1,000s to start, which isn't a lot of money. But the better it went, and the more I realized this is going to go well, the more I put money into it. Like I'm fine putting money into it if I think it's going to grow. And then I look at I every now and then I'll look in my house. I'll walk into one of my rooms like I've got like $4,000 worth of apparel in my room.
yeah,
I was like, if I stop doing this, then what am I have $4,000 worth of apparel.
yeah, but that means you lost $4,000.
Yeah, and also,
You
I
make
think
how much do you make every year,
Through
right?
all the other avenues,
two.
Yeah, right.
eBay and everything.
Oh no,
you
it's not a
probably sell
problem.
it.
It's just you just have a lot.
cost.
It doesn't matter how much you're having. You still have all this inventory and things sitting around.
I don't know. I walked in one time. Like, you got a lot more than 4,000 worth of sneakers there. Then that ain't making you any money.
Not a
Untrue.
chance, not a
Untrue.
chance.
I made about $600 running this year. For one, and two, most of those shoes I haven't paid for.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
But it's all how you
I
look
have
at
a lot of shoes.
How you look.
There's a lot of shoes.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow! You only got 2 feet.
I'm gonna need new shoes soon. You can still order shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Cool. I got no other topics. What do you guys got?
No, we have to. We're getting to the end of the year. We have to sort of say, all right, this is 2023. It's not completely done, but it's pretty much in the books.
Yep.
Let's end this episode and starting with Ray. What's your goals for 2024?
Oh, I was just going to
What
say
do
that
you
we
see?
we should spend a few episodes early end of this month, beginning of next year, on goals. Here, because I don't know about you. Do you set up goals for yourself? That looks like a no. Do you set up goals for yourself?
Never.
No. Oh. I do.
He doesn't like that.
I think it's important. I mean, I set goals and I put them on my
First
desk.
of all,
I don't sit at my desk anymore, but so it doesn't help me. But
You hit it right on the head. I believe in that.
you just don't
I
do it.
see that it works. I admire the people who do it, but unfortunately, I'm just not wired that
So
way.
so this is the same, and we had that discussion like way back when, right? When Adam said, "Oh, you should for a year you should write down everything you spend and blah blah blah," and I was like, "I'm never doing that,"
Never.
right? And you said the
But
same
there's
thing,
a different
right?
reason why you weren't doing that. I think. See, I used to set. I mean, been setting goals on and off for many years, and it used to be I would have a small percentage, but based off of my corporate job, and I'm like, I don't care. None offense to my corporation and whatever I was working for, but I don't care. Like my job is my goal for that is do as well as I can there and keep my job, and I never was worried about that. But I set up goals for my business. I set a goal for this year for my business, and I hit that 3 months ago. I also didn't expect it. Wasn't planning on huge growth because I had a pretty good year last year, and I wasn't realizing that's gonna be my main job. But I set the biggest things I set for, which is I'll set like running goals and gym goals, and it gives you incentive to continue doing things like, well, I want to hit this goal, I want to hit this
Yeah.
goal.
So this is the problem that I have, right? So I don't set goals like that, and I don't have any like structure to like. So it's like I don't work out, right? Like I've to all this time, and I just forget to work out every day.
You were saying when you were working that you didn't work out as much because you didn't have time. Now
yeah.
you have.
Yeah, all the time.
There's
in the
no
world.
reason.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
And every
It's
day I go to
discipline.
bed, and every day I go to bed thinking, man, I should have done 100 push-ups
Let me
today,
ask
and I
you a
didn't do it.
question, though.
Yeah.
Not to get too mental, do you think that even while he was working, then there was also just an excuse or an
course.
oversight?
Of course.
It wasn't what he was
Yeah.
saying.
So
Of course.
it's very easy to do. I think people take the path of least resistance, which is why people are fat, overweight, what do you want to say, lazy, out of shape, because it's so much easier to eat whatever you want to eat. It's so much easier to not exercise. It's so much easier to do anything, and then you complain about it.
Yeah. So like
so-
I need to get signed up for a race or something, because then I'm like, okay, I got to do this race, and I start training. Right. If I'm not signed up for something, I'm not doing anything.
So the bigger thing, do you think, is your goal is to achieve a much longer life, or you just
Yes.
like that short term? I accomplished this.
So I want to accomplish. I want something to accomplish.
Or do you have a
I also want to
long-term
have
goal?
So I have I want to live a long time. Most people. So what's the average lifespan of somebody in the United States? What, 78 years? I think they said that.
You're absolutely right.
But they said that. But also
Drop.
the average quality of life ends for most people around 50. So people are getting to 50. I'm throwing this number out. It could be off one way or the other. And then the next 28 years, they're miserable.
Yeah.
Because they're horrible
They're
shape.
depreciating.
I don't want that to happen. I want to live a long life and have a good quality of life the whole time. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like I read this. I also try. I don't do it as much as I lately. I try to, like, every third book or so I read, I try to do one where it's going to be something that I can learn from to better myself. But they're usually not as interesting to read as just reading fiction. So anyway, I read this. I was reading this one book, Tools for Titans or something like that. I don't know if you.
Nope.
But it was basically just like, this guy does a lot of podcasts.
Does it have pictures?
Not as good as ours.
Has pictures?
No pictures.
Diagrams?
No.
Did they have the little pop-up cardboard things?
Yeah. So this,
Johnny's not reading
gonna
it.
read
it was
it.
basically this guy does a podcast which is nowhere near the level of ours, but with each of his guests, they take that he took it and then put it into this book and sectioned it all off, and it's very interesting. Like some of the things you read about, like, you don't realize how, like, some people I like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. It's like you never realize how smart that guy is.
Oh yeah, and he's
Really, really
motivated.
Very disciplined.
Oh yeah,
Disciplined.
extremely.
But
Well, you can't be a bodybuilder that way.
But in
without
everything
it.
he does,
Yes,
like what he
that's
said, he
very
sets a
interesting.
goal.
But his work ethic outside was amazing. Like,
Right,
you
but,
read the stuff.
but
It's amazing.
you got to imagine that like people don't turn that on and off. It's like you're like that all the time, or you're not, right?
Yes. But you can build discipline. Discipline breeds discipline.
I've been very
So anyway,
poor at that.
There's this one of the sections I read was on the guy who started the Bally's. Remember Bally's gyms?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they exist anymore. Do they? I'm gonna say no. Anyway, the guy ended up selling the business when he was like in his 60s. I don't remember how many years ago. Let's say 20 years ago. And not because he said, I didn't sell it because I didn't want to do it anymore. I sell it because I just want to do other things. He want to enjoy his life and travel and do other stuff. And when this went on, he was 80-ish. He was at least in his 80s, and he could still do 20 pull-ups. And I said, that's gonna be my goal. I want to be in my 80s and still be able to do at least 20 pull-ups.
Wow.
So I'm not looking forward to 27 plus more years to get to that point to prove it that I can do it. But in 27 plus years, I plan on doing that.
Now, real quick, you're at your high school weight. What percentage up or down?
When I
What
graduated high
percentage
school,
up or down?
Oh, I'm up. Because I didn't start lifting
But
regularly until I got to college.
muscle
Muscle,
or
yeah.
not fat?
So when I graduated high school, I was the same height.
How dare you, Johnny?
I was 123 pounds. And then I met Ray in college, and we started going to the gym, and we would start lifting regularly.
Well, because of your brother.
I know.
Right.
I don't think I ever worked out with him.
But his brother forcing me to work out is what forced you to work out.
So we would go to the gym and just do like stupid workouts, and we get back into the dorm, and I'm like, I can't shower, like I couldn't move my arms, like I don't think it was very smart, but like most people have freshman 15, I had freshman 10 just from lifting.
Just from what? Yeah.
Yeah. And then my track coach says, I think you're getting too big. I'm like, I'm 133 pounds. I don't think I'm too big.
Really? So they were monitoring you that close?
No, but that's what they said. I mean, it's like, no, I'm just not that good of a runner.
At 18. I was 60 pounds heavier than you.
Yeah, you're dense.
And a few inches shorter.
No, at that age. Not now. I'm talking about at that age.
You were very dense.
Wow.
It's all in the bones,
Amazing.
Johnny.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's all in the meat
But you're probably shorter than me.
by a
I'm
few.
5'6".
Yeah.
I'm 5'6". Just scraping like 5'7" in the morning, you know.
Yeah, when you're all stretched out.
With hair.
Yeah, I don't
That's good,
have the
though.
hair buffer.
Yeah.
I like that this
Oh,
episode.
by the way, I didn't tell you this story yet.
Okay.
So I was at the competition, this thing on Friday. So I was there with this one girl who she competed. She's a runner as well. We work out together. She had the fastest. She's in the one age group younger than me, but she had the fastest run of all the women, excluding the elite women. And she did the same thing as we both came in fourth. Like, anyway, we get to the facility, and I'm waiting in line to pick up my number or whatever it is, and this guy walks in and he just looks at me, he points, he goes, I saw you in the hotel. And I'm like, really? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do with that. So then he goes in and he walks inside, and it was an older guy. So, and I saw him in there. I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, we were listening to you. We thought maybe you were coming in here. I go, you compete? He goes, no, my wife's competing. And And so we get in this conversation. He goes, you're competing? I'm like, yeah. He goes, what, in the 65 to 69? I'm like, what? And the thing is, this is not the first time somebody thinks I'm a lot older than I am.
Serious?
And every time I'm like, do I really look that old?
No.
So I gave him this look and he goes, oh, no, you don't look that old. I'm like, then why the fuck would you say that?
No, dude, not even close, bro. I'm sorry.
Believe me, it happens often.
It's the hair.
I don't have hair. So that's why I shaved it completely, because it was not only was I losing my hair, it was gray. I'm like, it's got to be that. So I shaved it off completely.
Still, bro, still.
65. So the guy, because he thought I was his age. I'm like, come on.
Wow. Well, I know. Well, it's the opposite actually. I know when Pete's hair is gray, and when it gets long, he looks really old, right? When he cuts it, when he buzzes it, he looks much younger, right?
But still, you don't even. It doesn't even apply.
It's not the first time.
You do not look.
When I was in my late 30s, people ask me, I go to run races, and like, are you in your 40s? I'm like, no.
Dude,
Johnny, this is the
53 to 55. That's it.
This sounds like a.
That's what I am. I'm
what
not
I mean.
even that. You're putting me older than I am.
No, 53, 55. If I was gonna guess, these days you just guess a number, so you don't like. But don't even worry about that. That's just someone not even paying attention.
More than once.
Jeez, no. Because I'm pretty.
So
when it comes to age, I'm usually pretty brutal.
This is
with
a thing that
people.
happens. I didn't notice this until I started getting older, but it doesn't happen that often. But it's happening when I'll run a big race. Be like a race like, let's say, like, I don't know, Philadelphia half marathon. There's like 10,000 people, whatever. And then at the end, I'll be passing people, or at some point I'll be passing people, and it'll be like an older person, masters runner, over 40, and they'll say something like, "How old are you?" Because they want to know if you're in their age group.
Yeah.
They worry about it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I was just like, I'm
Dude,
60.
I'm not even exaggerating. Look, you look at your hands. Your hands don't look old. You don't look old. I don't know how else to
Guess
say.
my
You don't
face looks
dress
old.
old.
Gary, take all your clothes off.
You don't
so we can
dress.
see.
You don't dress old.
Like, dress like you're running. So
right? If
maybe
he
it's
doesn't
that.
dress old, he doesn't
No,
look old.
these are usually not while I'm out running. It's usually when I'm fully dressed.
Oh.
But when I'm running, obviously in a race, like it's happening multiple times in a race. Somebody stop. Well, I'm passing them. They're like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Run faster. Just beat me." Like, what's the
Tell
problem?
them 26. That's it.
No, I say I'm older. I want to make them feel worse. I say I'm 65. Like you're getting me by
They're
65.
talking to each other. They see you in the thing like, "Hey, that guy's 65."
That's why. Yeah. I remember you saying it 20 years ago.
That's crazy. I would disagree big time.
I don't know.
It don't help that you're sitting next to him with not a white hair in sight.
Yeah.
He looks
no
great.
gray hair and all your hair.
I know. It's crazy.
I think.
So this because I don't stress, and maybe it's because I don't like set goals and whatever. Like
I don't hit my goals. I don't set them, so there's no stress.
Yeah, there's no stress. I don't
You
miss
hit the
them. I don't,
biggest goal,
like,
bro.
yeah,
What are you talking about? You're like the inspiration. He hit the goal. Who cares about the other ones?
That's right. The last thing I've got is that I'm switching from Apple to Android phone.
I thought you.
This is it.
Not a
What
problem,
is
my
this?
friend.
Wait, didn't you just get a brand new phone like last month when you lost it?
When I lost my phone, I went the next day and just bought a new one,
And the-
$1,200
But it has
iPhone
a 3-month.
So you bought a $20 phone and got another phone.
with a 3-month return.
Oh, okay.
So
You
it is.
planned it.
So I planned that so that I could then go decide what I really wanted, which I did. I bought a $300 Samsung phone, and I got.
Are you on T-Mobile now?
No, I'm still on Verizon
Why did you get this one?
because it was $300.
So when I got my phone, I'm like, I have a Samsung. You have an iPhone? Oh no, I love your phones.
Mm-hmm.
So I had at the time, the high-end Samsung Galaxy,
Right.
whatever,
Right.
but it was old. So when I need to get my own phone, I'm like, I don't want what's it called, the Galaxy S23.
S23 or whatever. Yeah.
It's like $1,000.
Right.
I'm like, I don't need $1,000 phone.
Right.
What's the phone I can get that's going to be at least as good as the phone that I'm getting rid of, which was a 9, I think, and it was this A54.
Which is what I bought.
It's more than $300.
$324.
It was on sale?
Black Friday.
Oh, I paid $450 for mine.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Son of a wait. So we have yours doesn't.
Key
have the same
is
phone.
the key is they're very good. They're very versatile. I love them. I've used them forever. I don't see any problem with you switching.
Yep. Just getting.
And
used to-
also remember now they just announced they're fixing. They were the ones with the issue. They're now succumbing and they're going to subscribe and program their phones to communicate SMS normal function that everyone else has migrated to. So I don't know if you guys know the conversations between iPhones
Yeah,
are all
yeah,
green.
yeah.
You'd show up as blue. That's all.
Yeah.
They're going to fix that in 2024 because they refused to go to the standard that everyone else was
I
using.
mean, Apple.
Right.
Wait,
so now
they're going to come in.
They're coming in.
Okay.
Do you guys, I have a feeling you use this. Do you remember? I think was it Nextel, the walkie-talkie
Yeah.
push to talk.
Yeah.
Of course.
those things, I used to have one of those things. Those
They're
things were
great.
the greatest things
Best
ever.
thing
Why
in
did
the
they get
world.
rid of
Best
that?
thing in the world.
Well, first of all, they're analog. The speak to talk, the
Yeah.
push to talk was an analog function, like the old cellular
Yeah,
phones.
yeah.
So they had a digital function of the phone and then
Why
an
can't they
analog
just switch it
function
to
of the phone.
digital?
Because then it wouldn't penetrate through. It was like the best thing in the world. So
So we had those when I was doing computer consulting, and it was awesome because you could be like driving somewhere and you just hit the button. It's like, because you're with someone, it's like, where am I turning? And you don't have to call.
So the bad thing is, like when you're working, like I used to under a machine and something, I had a thing in my ear. All of a sudden, like someone would be like, like it didn't ring or anything. So there was.
So, but the best thing I
shortcomings
loved
to it.
about that is like I knew my one friend who I was working for. He always had his on. He always wore it in his belt, and it didn't matter where he was. He'd have it loud. So I knew I'm like, beep beep. Where are you? He's like, I'm at Wendy's, and I would say something really obnoxious, so everybody around him would hear.
But yeah, and then the funny thing is, it's funny you say that because Sprint, which got, I think they were in the whole thing with Nextel, Sprint. They ate each other. You know, they
Yep.
merged. They did do a digital one with a regular phone, and
Yeah.
it just didn't do well because once it hit mainstream, people just were texting and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I remember looking for. I remember thinking, like, why isn't there an app that simulates that function where you could just
That's
like,
a good
hold
point.
the
Yeah,
button
yeah.
down
Yeah.
and just do that, right? There's got to be.
There has to be. But yeah, it is a cool thing.
Why don't we write that app?
It's
Yeah.
good. It's good that you guys finally came into the fold. We're all
Man,
on the
I've
same page.
been like this forever.
So I was originally an Android phone for years, and then when we were converting all of our phones at work to Apple because the security wasn't good enough on Samsung, and I was handed the project to convert 25,000 phones to,
And he got no wrinkles from that.
and they were all, and I was telling people why they have to go to Apple and why it's so great. And I was sitting there with a Samsung phone. I was getting dirty looks all the time.
Well,
I was
then
like,
again,
you know what?
it was even difficult because you were switching some people from Blackberries, and people
Well,
love
that-
their Blackberry.
Well, that was like,
That was chaos.
that's chaos. That's like painful, emotional. Like, that
Yeah.
was terrible. But yeah, so that's why I went to Apple. And then I got stuck with it with Noah because all of his friends had the SMS texting thing,
Right.
and they were all Apple. And then one year we had to get new phones, and it was buy one get one free, and it's $1,000, right? So I'm like, okay, so we wound up with 2 new Apple phones, and I'm stuck with that for 2 more years, right? So that's why I've been just like dragged along the Apple path. So now we'll try this and see.
Yeah, I made the mistake. When Jennifer had the BlackBerry and she wanted to switch to a new phone, I just, instead of just giving her the one I knew she'd just fold right, I said, "Babe, let's just go there. You hold them and you look at them." And she did it all by aesthetics. The thing wasn't
Yeah.
even on.
Yeah.
She's like, "I like this one better."
And that was an iPhone.
It was an iPhone.
Yeah.
She doesn't use any functions, doesn't do anything. She just, that's what I have. So she knows what it is. And as much as I try to help her, I know this is going to piss people off. It is the most unintuitive thing I've ever.
so
I can't
iPhone?
get
So
used
I've-
to it.
I've been
Yeah,
on
I
both.
can't get used to it.
I've been on both sides, right? So it is unintuitive in the beginning, right? It's just that you have to think about everything backwards, right? So now I'm undoing that. So it's a problem for me now getting back on a Samsung because I have to do it the other way. Once you get used to it, you get
I
used
call
to
it
it.
common
It's fine.
sense. You're in mail. And you need to fix your mail. You
Yeah.
just go right into the settings in
Yes.
mail. No, you don't
No.
go backward. Go
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
like
It's
like when she has a problem. Like I don't know, call them because I ain't even gonna waste
Yeah,
my time
no,
because I'm gonna get frustrated.
it is a different way, and it happened to me the other day. I was trying to turn like notifications or something on or off, and I'm like, wait, I don't know how to find it, you know? And it's right there
It's
in
right
front of
there.
you, right?
Exactly.
But I'm looking everywhere else. That's what I'm used to with the iPhone. So, but yeah, I look, iPhones are great. They do a lot of things great. So I'm not going to knock it, but I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. So,
Well, you have more money in your pocket.
and as soon as I return that phone, I'll have an extra $800. So,
Where'd you get the case?
probably at way ordered on Amazon. But I despise it, so I ordered a new one
Oh, why don't you like it?
because it's slippery. It's sliding all around in the car and wherever, right? Like this surface is no good. And then this ring thing, which I wanted because it's easier to hold stuff. But like once you turn it, like it doesn't go down. It only goes down in one way. You got to put it all the way back and then down.
I got
right?
nothing but a basic one.
I wanted something to stand it up. What's that?
Same complaint.
You
I
ripped
just
it off?
ripped it off.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this. I was like,
Yeah. So what I found, you can go the opposite way. So I'm going to buy the rubber case, the OtterBox rubber one. I found it on eBay for
That's an
10
OtterBox?
No, this is not. The one I had on my iPhone was an OtterBox. So I'm The rubber OtterBox one I found for $10 on eBay instead of $60 or whatever. And then you can buy a ring and glue it on or clamp it on, so I can add it.
And it rests wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do
That was the complaint. I like the rest of the case is good, and then this thing, I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Just
Yeah.
ripped it right off.
Yeah. Gary, you want this case?
Sure.
Kind of sucks.
This is just a basic one. I just wanted something to keep it protected. And I went online and I was going to get something like this, but you would 1,000 reviews and you get like half of them are 5s and half of them are 1s. And like,
Yeah.
can't be that good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take this one.
I don't think this is slippery at all.
Very, like in the car, like on the console where you
Well,
put
I
it down
went-
in between, it just slides right off when you make a turn.
Yeah, but I put it locked
So
in.
real quick, because we don't have much time left. We got your answer, Gary, for 2024.
Oh.
Ray, what's on the horizon for 2024? Top shelf stuff.
Top shelf is either we're going to embark on this ridiculously energy, labor, and brain-intensive business and costly endeavor.
Keeps
you
you
already
young.
said yes.
Keeps you young.
Keeps you young.
Yeah, gets you old.
And if in the slight chance we don't do that, then the focus is gonna be on everything I was supposed to do this year in the last 9 months that I didn't do. Renovate the bathroom, renovate the front porch, clean up the house, declutter the garage, all the stuff that needs to get done is getting done. Do some more traveling. Go see the solar eclipse. There's gonna be a full solar eclipse that goes across the northern U.S. From the southwest to the northeast in
And
April.
where will you see it at?
I don't know yet, but probably up in Vermont or New Hampshire or something like that. Go do that. We got the big raft trip with Adam and the gang in July, and then whatever other trips we can squeeze in between.
I have something for you, but did you tell us what your plans are for next year?
No.
I have none.
You have none.
This conversation is about you two. So don't worry.
I want to hear the update of the cat.
The cat. So was there ever a did we ever
The
talk
last
about
thing you
the
said
cat?
is he still had the cone on.
Was that on the show?
Yeah.
Okay, so the cat went back to the vet to get checked out, and everything was fine. Pulled the stitches out, and then she didn't eat for like 3 or 4 days, so we didn't know why. We took her back to the vet, and the vet fed her, and she ate fine. So then we brought her back home, and 2 weeks later, she was behaving normal. And right now, we kind of forget that she was injured, and everything's back to the way it was.
All right.
So she's all good. She definitely seems more homebound now. Like she's more hanging out around home, wants to come in the house.
She's
more.
wiser. She's wiser. She's like, you know what?
Every time I leave, something bad happens.
something
Right?
bad happens.
Right. So if anybody wants a cat, we might have a cat that's willing to be an indoor cat.
No. You know where the cat goes. Don't.
You're gonna take it?
Jen's been waiting for that cat. Listen, I got kitty litter and cat food in the basement because he said he was going to give us that cat.
Listen, if the cat comes here, it's the same as being outside. She's gonna get all over these rooms.
Yeah, lost.
Yeah.
Trapped. Stuck.
No,
Listen,
not a bad thing.
Listen,
Kill all the mice you
I'm
have.
sorry. First of all, there's no mice in here. Don't ever say that.
Because you have a
Jennifer
cat.
will die. Number one. Number two, Jennifer will figure out a way to make that cat
Fat.
completely the opposite. You come here in a year, the cat's going to be like,
Just laying around.
some grape.
We'll have the
Yeah.
cat sitting out here during our
Not
episodes.
that grape. I
Yeah.
want that grape.
Yeah. Oh, so speaking of mouse, one more thing, and then we gotta shut off. So every once in a while, I always hear like mice in the attic or whatever, and it's like sometimes they're in the gutter, like chipmunks in the gutters, but some whatever. So finally, like one night, and happened to be when Wei was in Hong Kong, right? I hear like the little scratching on the wall, and then I'm hearing it again, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like it's in the wall. That
And
sounds
your
like
cat's
it's in
not
the room.
irked?
Oh, this is at night. This is like 2 in
Oh,
the
okay,
morning.
okay.
Cat's outside, right? So I'm like, this sounds like it's in the room. And then I hear it. I'm like, that sounds like it's under the bed, right? So I pull out, I grab my phone, I flick the light on, and I'm just waiting. And then finally I see this mouse goes run along the baseboard of the room, like running along.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, okay. So so I get up and try to catch it, and of course you can't, right? And then
Well, why
they
do you think
just
you're-
All right,
vanish,
listen,
right?
Do not ever repeat this story to Jennifer. She'll never,
Did you let the cat
ever
in the
go to
house?
your house.
So I brought the cat in. It gave me an excuse to I'm digging through the house and under the bed where we never clean under the bed and stuff. So and Way's not home and it's all dusty and everything. I'm like, oh, it's perfect time. So I take everything out, dust the whole room, clean out all the clutter, everything out of the room, and put the air purifier on and get all the dust out and all that stuff. And never found the mouse. So I'm like, okay, he's went back and I went back under the sink, through where the pipes come in, right? So I remember seeing on YouTube how to like homemade mouse traps, right? So I go out in the garage, take a bucket, drill 2 holes in the side, put a big long screwdriver like through the whole thing, like right across the top, and you put a plastic bottle through it, right? So the bottle spinning on the screwdriver. Put some stuff inside and whatever, and put a piece of wood ramp up to the bucket. Put it under the sink. Next day, mouse in the bucket. Right? They just go up there. They try to walk on the plastic bottle, and it just spins, and they fall in. So I take it out, put it back. Next day, another one. Right?
Is it the same one? Are you killing the mouse, or are you just taking them outside?
So the first one, I went to bring it to go outside. I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing? And the cat's sitting on the porch. I'm like, here you go. Right? So I just can't.
For real?
That's rude, dude. That's rude.
It was the cat like, thanks.
No wonder the cat wants to be inside. He's like, yo, look what I got.
Did the cat eat it?
She was playing with it when I went back in the house. Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's mean.
I mean, like every day
rude.
or almost every other day, I find a dead mouse on the front porch. Like every day, almost every day, at least 3 or 4 a week. Right. So gave her that one, and then put the bucket back. Caught one the next day. Drove that one to the park, like 2 miles away or whatever, and let it go. And then 2 days later, got another one. So I think it's 3, unless the first one got away and then figured out how to get back in the
Spray
attic.
paint the tail, bro.
So I did that to the raccoons that I trapped in the Poconos because I thought the same thing. So yeah, I didn't do that. But then we haven't caught any more since then. So, but then I still hear
holes.
I still
Holes
hear
somewhere.
noises. Yeah, so I
Your
plugged all the
soffit, something.
yeah. So we'll figure it out. But the other thing is I could just put the cat in the attic, lock her in.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
What if she's afraid of the dark?
Cats
I've
aren't.
never heard.
You
of
don't know
a cat
that.
straight in the dark. They don't like water.
That's true. All right, I think that's a wrap for today. Thanks everybody. I don't think I said the whole subscribe and thing, and I forget what the phone number is, but
There's a number somewhere.
that's a number. Yeah. So
There's a 9 in it.
we'll find it. It starts with an 8, I think.
3.
2, 1.
Pretty sure there's no A's in it.